With the daylight behind me, you can honestly tell that it is no longer Monday night. This is Tuesday afternoon, well, Tuesday evening. And alas, the U.S. team for the World Cup are no longer in the running. They have lost to Belgium, sadly. Even though they played an awesome game, I have never been more proud of my U.S. team. I have never been more proud. Great job, guys, even though you're probably not watching this video. But as usual, I always give you guys a Monday Night Raw review. So here is my Monday Night Raw review for June 30th. Guys, I'm going to do my best to try to make this an overall positive review, but there are a few things that I just need to get off my chest first before I can mellow out. Number one, the opener. Okay, the opener was okay. It was cool. It was fun to see Stephanie and Triple H having a bit of fun at John Cena's expense. It was funny. Not only that, it was funny to see John Cena's reaction. But that's not the one thing that kind of got me heated. But this is the one thing that kind of got me confused. Okay. For the one thing, this is supposed to be the reality era, right? Okay, you did everything in your power to try to get Roman Reigns to stay out of this last pay-per-view's Money in the Bank ladder match. So why did you put him in a fatal four-way with John Cena for the next pay-per-view? This is the main guy you're trying to get rid of. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And okay, let's move on to number two, the one thing that confuses me and makes me a little bit not really enraged, but kind of confused and a bit, huh? You had this one guy, Jack Swagger, took out Wade Barrett for months. And it's going to go into a fourth thing. Wade Barrett is now in an injury to where he requires surgery. He'll be out for a few months, which means that he lost his title. His title is now vacant, all by the hands of Jack Swagger. The same Jack Swagger, out of the blue, ended up becoming a face only a few days later because of Rusev and Lana. Leave it to the Russians to have everybody join together. You get the two biggest racist characters on your show to become face in 2 days. Now, let's move on to something else that really bugs me and gets me all heated up. You're selling or promoting Twisted Tea on a show that you're trying to get more kids to watch. That makes plenty sense, WWE. You're selling literally alcohol-laced tea, not selling it, but you're promoting it on your show for a show that you're trying to encourage more kids to watch. That makes no sense. And I'm not enraged just for the fact that it's supposed to be a children's show. And you're pretty much literally let us suffer through the PG era because you're trying to encourage more kids to watch. You're putting Twisted Tea as a promoter. How broke are y'all? Seriously. There's gonna probably be more things that I can rant about, but I'm sorry, that's the one thing that really got my just got my crawl. Like, it just got my gears grinding for that reason. Sure, you may say I'm a little bit over the top. Sure, you might say that I'm being ridiculous, but I don't care. I thought that was dumb. You could have chose any other brand, but you chose Twisted Tea. Anyway, y'all, hope this ranting should be done, so I'm going to be serious from now on, or at least try to be. CM Punk is gone. He is not coming back. For crying out loud, can we stop with the stupid CM Punk chants? No matter how much you cheer, he made the decision to walk out. I am so tired of hearing his chant night after freaking night. Okay, hopefully this is the last of my rants, but if not, this is going to be a real long review. All right, y'all. I think I have all my rage out because There have been a few highlights after watching this Raw. The biggest highlight for me was Chris Jericho's return. Sure, we saw The Miz. We didn't really miss him because we didn't know he was gone. I knew he was filming a Marine 4, but besides all that, we didn't really know he was gone, let alone cared. But it was epically awesome to see Chris Jericho out there again. And possibly having a feud with the Wyatts, which is even better because they need this feud. But then comes another disappointing turn when we had another champion to actually return, and I'm talking about AJ Lee. Now, I love AJ. Well, I didn't really like her because the whole Lolita thing started getting out of style, but she's a great heel, and I'm not going to deny that. But I will say this, I did not like the overall outcome of that match. Sure, it's setting up for a rematch. Hopefully the rematch is going to be at Battleground because AJ Lee versus Paige would pretty much be the best feud, the best match of all time, because they're both great submission specialists, except AJ Lee has one move while Paige has several. But I still consider the whole win to be cheap. I'm sorry, it is. But seeing AJ Lee come out there and talk to Paige, her little confrontation was cool until we ended up having an impromptu title match, and then you guys know what happened. And I think it was cheap and it was ridiculous. Unlike the actual changing of hands from AJ Lee to Paige that lasts only a second, we got a full minute, guys! A full minute match! Yeah! And sure, it's setting up for a really great match at a possible pay-per-view, but it's not going to be on this one. And if it is on this one, we all know that Paige is not going to win because it'll make the belt look cheap if they end up changing hands on the pay-per-view that quick. Do I have any idea whether or not AJ Lee's going to be sticking around? No, I have no idea at all. But let's move on to the final event of the night. It was supposed to be, I guess, a fatal four-way match. Well, the fatal four-way match is actually going to be on Battleground with John Cena battles against 3 other guys. I'll talk about that later. But the match itself was kind of off. Okay, the one thing I'm going to say is this. It was an overall good match, and then John Cena got tombstone, and then he got hit with a whatever. And, John Cena pretty much got down for the count. Here comes Seth Rollins about to cash in. But for some reason, and this is what unbeknownst to me, maybe it's a hidden rule that I didn't know of, and if you guys do know this, leave in the comment section below. If I had no idea that this person had to be conscious, I just thought that they had to be present. I thought the WWE Heavyweight Champion had to be present when the actual Money in the Bank briefcase was cashed in. I didn't know they had to be conscious now. And the fact is that the referee said he was hurt. I couldn't ring the bell because he was hurt. It's supposed to happen anywhere, anytime. They never said anything about the person having to be conscious. Sure, it's within your moral code to wait till this guy's at least awake before you take the belt from him. But there was nothing really saying that you couldn't do it. So I'm like, okay, that makes 0 sense. Seriously. And then, here comes Dean Ambrose late, taking out Seth Rollins late, and then they end up running all the way to the back and stopping. You know that they were actually taking a break. But besides all that, Triple H was so desperate that I don't know whether or not he was going to cash it in himself or if he was going to give it to Kane, but it looked like he was going to try to cash it in himself to take the belt from Cena, which is dumb. You go through all this hullabaloo to get the guy on your video game, what WWE 2K15 for next year, and then have all this pomp and circumstance only trying to take the belt from him in the very end. Honestly, y'all, my overall thoughts of Raw is this. I'm not even ranting anymore, but I really feel like the WWE creative team storyline-wise has phoned it in the worst way. They are literally taking storylines and not ending them, but literally making new storylines within the current storylines. It makes no sense. Seriously, it's like they're writing storylines for the previous week, but then forgetting what they wrote prior and then writing something new for the new night. And nothing makes sense. It's like the event never really happened. It's like the pay-per-view never happened. So honestly, y'all, this was a hodgepodge of mess storyline-wise. It was ridiculous storyline-wise. The matches were overall great. It was great to see the new guy. It was great to see Chris Jericho and AJ Lee again. It was awesome to see such great matches after we saw last night. And it kind of lifted my spirits and made me, it made me happy to actually see Damien Sandow coming out there dressed as Vince McMahon. I thought it was hilarious to pay a homage to him. But honestly, y'all, they really need some work storyline wise. The matches themselves are great, but if you want to have storylines and entertainment, for crying out loud, at least have it make some sense. But y'all, I want to hear some overall thoughts from you guys for this past Raw. Leave a comment in the comment section below or send me a video response, because on the real, it was a hodgepodge, a mess. And that's my overall opinion. Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.